please like and subscribe. All right, welcome back to another Crypto Bros,
And Holy Girl.
episode 87.
Yeah,
80s.
for sure.
Woohoo!
Yay!
So Caleb and I, Holly, have had exciting days. We
Yeah.
both took naps, and it was
Very nice.
glorious.
You know, I wish I was a napper. I am just not. We played some Fortnite and then I did yard work. Yay!
How is the cleanup from the big storm you had a couple weeks ago?
Oh, that was terrible. I mean,
Are you
terrible.
done?
For the most part, yeah, so we had a giant cactus, a giant one that had fallen over. And you can actually pay somebody probably about $2,000 to come and get the cactus. So
You can pay
yeah,
me $2,000. I'd come get the cactus.
yeah, it's just, and so we're like, we're not going to pay for the removal of this cactus, and it's old. And I'm kind of sad because, here in Arizona, it's a thing. You don't get rid of cactuses, but it was like woodpeckers. There were so many holes in it from woodpeckers getting to it that like it was pretty damaged. And I can see why it like fell over, but it fell over into the street, so that was fun. We had to cut it in pieces just to move it because cactuses are so heavy. Like they don't seem like it, but they are, especially
Is there,
when they're giant. I mean, it was probably I would say probably 30 feet tall.
How big
they
around?
have like a lot of moisture or water in them, right?
Bigger. Well, it was, huh?
But they have like a lot of moisture or like water in them, and that's what makes them heavy.
Yeah, you don't even have to like water them. They
Yeah.
just kind of soak up water from the ground and yeah. So I would say it's bigger than I can hug. Like it was yeah. I mean, not that I'm gonna hug a cactus because
You should on a dare.
yeah, no,
Truth or
no, I
dare time. Bring it
no,
back. Holly's dare is to hug a cactus.
absolutely not. That will kill me.
I'm
Depending on
sorry.
what type of cactus it is, it actually could kill you. But yeah, and then we have, our block wall. We actually had to build a fence, a chain link fence behind it so that it would keep it from tipping over for the time being because it's cement. Cement needs to be dry before you could pour it. Like it's been an
Yeah.
ordeal.
Hmm.
And
It's
so,
rough.
yeah, and we lost the dog for a while. Like she went missing for a while and then randomly like it stopped raining and there she was on my front porch after, I went around and tried to find her for like hours. Oh, in the rain. Yeah, that was eventful.
Yeah.
Eventful.
Well, we're glad
Times.
it's all got taken care of, and Caleb and I, we pitched in obviously by taking naps, so
Yeah.
super
Yeah.
helpful on that front. But
So,
yeah, I guess we should just throw this out there too that in 39 days we've finally made arrangements, and our second anniversary is coming up, and we are going to do a repeat and meet in Vegas. So
Yep.
that should be a lot of fun.
yeah,
Unfortunately, like for today, Greg is plumbing, so like he's doing stuff, and I don't know why he says yes to these jobs, but he does. And I told him if you're going to retire as a plumber, you have to stay retired, like can't go back. But so it's just the three of us today.
yeah.
So the main thing that I wanted to talk about, there's a little bit going on in crypto. I've seen a lot of this must be the time of year where people come out with their expectations and their speculations of price points and things like that for not only this year but 2025. I think we're going to save those for next week because some of them that I've come across from more than one source are pretty interesting, especially if you hold blue chips. So we may talk about that next week. But the one thing we wanted to talk about today that was, I don't know, high on our radar was the BBTF space. And so, we have a lot of people that watch this program that were into SafeMoon. Some of them still are. That whole lawsuit with John is going on still. He got out on bail, as we mentioned last week. And there's a little bit of movement there, but not a lot to be reporting on. But then out of the ashes comes BBTF. And I don't want to speak factually here, but I feel like over the last several months we haven't heard very much out of them. I wouldn't say we haven't heard anything, but we haven't heard very much out of them. And then I think the reason we started to hear from it, and then we'll get into what was actually talked about, is people started doing a lot of speculation on their own about what's going on with BBTF. Like, where are they? Why haven't we heard from them? Because of their close association with SafeMoon, is my belief. And so then there was some things said on Twitter and this and that, just more informational than anything else, and then said, hey, we're going to have a space. So did you guys get a chance to watch that space or listen to that space, I guess?
The first one or the part two?
So the one on Thursday.
Yeah. Yeah, that was part two.
Okay. Yeah. When was the first one?
I think it was 2 weeks prior.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that was part two. I'm with
Yeah.
you. Okay. So what did you think about, let's just put it all together. What did you think about part one and part two? If you had to summarize it. Because I'll be honest with you, I didn't really pay attention to part one. I paid attention to part two, and partially because of how much traction it was gaining, because they asked the community to ask questions. And I was just really curious what was on people's minds and what questions they wanted to ask. And then that kind of turned into its own little sideshow, because BBTF supporters were mad at people for asking different questions. And I don't know. I think some people took the opportunity to take shots at BBTF. I don't think everyone was doing that. I think there was legit questions out there, but we haven't got much better with the sideshows of unwavering support for projects and not allowing people to ask questions without it being called FUD. So that reminded me a lot of the more recent SafeMoon days. But I guess I'm going to assume that most people that watch this listen to the space, or at least part of it. So I don't necessarily want to get into how it was constructed, except for I just will say Don was the main speaker the entire time. They took a couple questions at the very end, but they invited people up. They weren't really waiting for people to raise their hands, which I thought was a little bit different than the past. But what do you think, Holly? I just pick a point, or you don't have to summarize the whole thing, but
Yeah. So the thing is I was one of the people who got their answers or their questions answered.
almost all
I
of them, if not all of them.
Yeah. And I mean, some of them I get, I guess he can't really talk about because of legal reasons. And that's, so fine. I left it at that. He did touch on marketing and what they're going to do marketing wise within, the digital area. So because, it's just, that's kind of the way it's going, I guess, is to market solely, especially a token. You can't really market that out there right now.
Yeah, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I think that's a really good talking point for a second. So
Mhm.
I get that, right? That makes sense to me. Like, I understand what he's saying. But
Right.
at the same time, the bigger issue there is, if this is a reflectionary token based on volume and there's no volume, what are we going to do?
That's,
And advertising on Coin Market Cap, and I can't remember what they were now, which two places he said he was going to be at. I don't think that's. I don't buy tokens based on advertisements I see on PooCoin or different things like that. So I
he
think
got,
there's still a pretty big issue there. Just my opinion.
yeah. I do too. I mean, I don't, I can't really, I can't really say anything bad about about his answer. I mean, I
Hmm.
get where he's coming from. It's just, it's kind of like, well, that's not going to cut it. That's not cutting it right now.
Hmm.
And in all honesty, I think I truly believe that their goal is a lot more long term than people are realizing.
Agreed,
And
100%.
Makes sense. Yeah.
and so you have to be prepared for that as a holder, I guess, but you should also be asking the harder questions because one of the biggest questions that I had, I didn't get an answer to. It was actually that's a lie. The answer I got was specifically around that BBTF did not know whose wallet hold the 1.9 billion tokens.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's a concern to me, and I'm going to tell you why. So, and they said they didn't know whose it was, and they also said it wasn't owned by BBTF or anybody involved in BBTF,
Yeah,
the company.
or no team members.
Right. So I don't know what he means, but I mean, you can't say you don't know whose wallet that is and then turn around and say, but it's not anybody from here. Because
Right.
it's like, first off, how do you know that then? Because
Yeah.
you don't know. Now, I'm not naive at all. I see what's going on within like the community, and they have this thing called Operation Slow Squeeze. Now, whoever is in charge of this wallet, I don't really care. The point that I'm trying to make and trying to get people to understand is if that wallet decides to leave, this project will I'm just going to say I don't believe it can recover
Agreed.
because
Yeah.
they can get out more than they even have in tokens. So if it does recover, they can do it right again. And I know this Operation Slow Squeeze, they're saying they're never going to sell. They're going to live off reflections and because they're staking it. And I can tell you, I went into that wallet and I did my own research and I see exactly what they're doing. However, I cannot take anybody's word on the internet that is a stranger when they say they're never going to sell. I
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
because as that price goes up, so does the price in that wallet. There is no upside down. So as an investor, I'm very concerned about that wallet and what happens to my money if that wallet gets pissed off. How many times have we seen this in a space where somebody just ghosts gets pissed off and says F you because we don't know who each other is in real life.
Yeah.
So, it's really disappointing that there was no reassurance that, I guess there can't be if you don't know whose wallet it is. I
Would,
guess,
would it be a more reassurance if you knew it was a team member's wallet than if you didn't know?
the only reassurance I would have is I know, especially because it's a proxy contract, if you're never going to sell it, why don't you just lock it up?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you just lock that wallet?
Well, here's the deal. I trust both of you guys with my life. Okay, I just do. And if let's just say you own that wallet and you told me you were never going to sell it, I would believe you. But if you had some sort of life emergency and all of a sudden you needed that money, then yes, technically you would be going against your word by selling it. But at the same time, I could not fault you for that. So I'm not saying that's what we're looking at, but even you guys that I trust with my life, I could not necessarily bank my entire investment on the fact that you told me you would never sell those tokens.
Yeah,
Does that make sense? So that
absolutely.
Yeah.
so that's a little bit scary to me too. I mean, the whale watching that people do with different tokens and this and that and or coins even, and they're so proud of these people. I get it to a point, but what happens if those people sell? Then, I mean, the whole thing tanks, and not just in BBTF, but in a lot of these projects. And like you said, it is more of a long-term deal. And at some point, somebody's goal may have been say, "Hey, when it gets to $1, I'm going to start selling off here in chunks." Which, I get it because I do believe that if you're not selling from time to time, then you're doing it wrong. But at the same time, when you hold that big of a percent of what is out there, you can. I don't want to use the word manipulate, but I can't think of another word because I don't want to say that it's necessarily would be on purpose. And I feel a manipulation is on purpose, but you could manipulate the price. And that's a little scary to me.
Okay.
So we've seen that in other projects just by people's the power of their words or of who they are in the whole thing has manipulated price, And I don't know, that's just a little bit scary to me.
Yeah.
So, and here's the other thing too that I wanted to touch on, and maybe you were going to get to that, Holly, and I don't mean to cut you off by any means, but we're talking about a reflectionary token that in its whole ecosystem is based on volume. And when we had Don Bailey on, it was probably just about a year ago, maybe more, maybe 13 months ago. This is one of the questions I had from him. I was like, so you're talking about this massive ecosystem that's, and I get it, if all these branches and things are all around it, and this over here affects this and vice versa, and it all affects the price of BBTF. Even with the reflections as it comes to mirrored protocol and it reflecting the BBTF and different token, all this stuff. Okay. If there's no volume, then what are you going to do? Because I keep hearing, well, I'm staking my token and the price is going up. That's cool, but you're still not getting anything out of your stake tokens if nobody's buying or selling. Because the only way that you're getting anything in staking is it's just more, you get a bigger percent of the reflections, basically, is the easiest way I know how to explain it. And I don't know who's buying this. I mean, I saw it went up 3,000% last month or whatsoever, and basically what that did is got most people back to even, or at least to where the launch price was. But here's where I take everything with a grain of salt too. Over a year ago, this would have been 14, 15 months ago, is when we really started getting all the hype, actually a little bit longer than that, all the hype around the mirrored protocol, right? And which is a big deal because it's a huge part of BBTF's ecosystem. I mean, that's where a lot of the reflections are coming. Now, at the time, I wasn't sure that was the greatest idea because you're pushing, easiest way I can explain it, if I have $100 and I wanted to buy BBTF, that $100 goes into BBTF, right? But if I have that $100 and now you have these other protocols that I can buy and I put them into that, now BBTF's getting like $2 of that. Let's just say it's 2%. And it didn't make sense to me as, well, why wouldn't you want the whole $100 into the main token? And a part of it, I think, is it stalled out in buying, like it didn't have the hype, but mirrored protocol BNB sounds pretty cool. And so people are like, oh, I get BNB reflections and BBTF reflections. Okay. But then what happened to the buy pressure there? It went away. And then you had, I think it was mirrored protocol BNB. This is the one that I got into. That thing is worth cents. I put almost, I'm just going to be transparent. Hopefully that's okay. Everybody's all right with that. But I put almost $1,000 into it. And it is now worth less than $1. I don't remember last time. 2 weeks ago I checked it. It was like 20 some cents. So it's basically not worth much at all. And it's also, remember, it's also the one that whenever we bought it, the bots sold off as fast as they could, and there was an exploit or whatever. And I only invest when I'm willing to lose, so it's not like I lost any sleep over it whatsoever. Mm-hmm. But I lost a lot of faith in the project at that point. And then I felt like, there was a lot of spaces or a lot of people coming around. We've had people like Gotti, we had people like Blair come on. We talked to them. All very good talkers, and some of those guys were really good people, right? To this day, Blair is still probably one of my favorite people out there. I'm just going to throw that out there, okay? So no hard feelings towards him at all. I believe that what he was saying was what he believed to be the truth, and I think for the most part, when those guys were on here, all of them were that way.
Yeah.
But, and I'm talking in circles, and I apologize, but I have a lot of thoughts, and I probably should organize it on a chart or a whiteboard. But the way it comes back around, though, is so you broaden your ecosystem, right? And this ecosystem is supposed to be self-sustaining, but it's all based on volume. But then we have issues with part of that ecosystem and really never got any answers when all those spaces and everybody is being transparent. And then we come back around. None of those projects, actually BBTF had less holders about a month ago than it did like 10 months before that. and the only thing people were getting reflections in is the cells and the mere protocols, the volume on those. I should have checked today before we got on, but in all, there hasn't been much movement in volume in any of those mere protocols in months. I'm not going to say zero, but it's
close.
it's not enough to fire up an ecosystem around, right? So one of the questions, which brings me into something else, one of the questions that was brought up was, well, what about the mirror protocols? Oh, we're going to have them all launched. I don't care. I think that thing is dead in the water. I don't care about the rest of the mirror protocols because I don't know who's going to buy them. You're sure not going to pay for the money that you made off BBTF to buy some mirror protocols.
They've been running a pre-sale for ADA
Wow.
and Matic for, oh my gosh, like it's been months, months.
It's
And
about 10 months, I think, isn't it?
I don't, no, I don't
I
know.
thought it was spring of last year.
Like, I don't think it's that long.
Maybe not. My days run together. I'm old.
Like at least 3 months. I mean that, and that's really like get generous. So we'll just say 3 months, but nobody that I know of that bought into that was aware that pre-sale was going to last this long. And so they're like, where's my money? Like, why my money's just sitting in this pre-sale. So I can't wrap my head around why they haven't released it. Especially if all the others have zero volume. What are you afraid of? I mean, just launch it now.
Yeah, get it out there. Who cares?
Exactly. That's kind of exactly. And so they did a stealth launch with Link. I'm just not understanding why you just didn't do it with all of them.
Yeah.
Or within at least a month of each other or something. Like, but as far as I know, and like people who I've talked to, because gosh, I've been talking to a lot of people lately that have reached out to me, and they're like, "Where's my money?
Well,
I bought in." And see, I didn't get involved in that, so I wasn't real. I just wasn't paying too much attention to those at the time to get involved because I was one of them. With BNB NP that kind of got wrecked,
yep.
After that, I was like, you know what, I'm out. Like, I'm done with this. This isn't my jam. And
Yeah. No, I'm with you, Holly. And at the same time, too, like, I don't know what the secret is why they can't go ahead and push those out. It doesn't matter. You're right. But here's the other thing, too. One of the things that got brought up in space that I think got glossed over a little bit is one of the questions was the reason why, hey, how come you haven't launched this? Because some of these tokens like XRP and this and that, they've been going up and I want to get a part of that. You're still not going to get a part of that if there's no volume in the MP. So it's like, if I don't understand why people wouldn't go ahead and just put that money into the main token. And that's not what they want people to say or think. But that doesn't make any sense to me because I'm with you, Holly. I got wrecked on BNB. I didn't even look into the pre-sales of the rest of them.
yeah, and to be honest, like I was looking. So, Don asked people to ask questions, and people put in their questions and stuff, and whatever. Some people didn't agree with how that was set up, and whatever.
Yeah.
And I actually was like, okay, now's my time to get out all the questions that I have. And at this point, how he answers them or whatever answer I get, I'm just going to be good with it. Because to be honest, now they can come back and be like, oh, Holly, you already asked that question. He already answered that question. So why are you asking again? Don't harp on it, so.
Yeah, but did they answer your questions?
No.
Okay.
And it's the thing, but I kind of came like to terms with that after, I did feel some type of way when he did say, and these questions are from Holly Girl, and he made it a big point to point me out that I was asking these questions, and that's okay. I'm not shying away from my questions.
No.
Yeah.
It also was super, can I just say real fast, it was super informal, like the way that he said is using your Twitter handle, which I also get, but he's been on the show twice. Like, there's a relationship there. It could have just very well said Holly, but it was just the way it was said. And I'm not trying to nitpick it. It just made me laugh when I was listening to it.
Yeah, Me too. And like, you know, I was like, whatever. And I did notice, you know, the tone in his voice about how, you know, he was coming across when he was answering my questions.
Me
I
too.
mean, he even laughed a little bit about one, like kind of giggled like it was a stupid question, but I'll answer it to entertain you. I got it. I got that reference. And thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And at first, you know, I was kind of thinking, guys, I'm like, is this me and my feelings, right? Like, I'm really,
No.
maybe this is a me thing. But I started getting a flood of DMs saying, well, you really struck a nerve with him.
Yeah, I actually had people say that. Did you hear the way Dawn answered Holly's questions? And
Yeah.
I was like, because I didn't listen to it live, I listened to it later, and so I had to go back and listen, make sure I listened to all of it. So you're not wrong.
Yeah. And you know, and the thing is every single question I thought I actually sat on and thought about it prior to even asking. And you know, a lot of the questions that I asked were questions that other people have asked me. And so I'm like, okay, I'm not the only one that has this question. Let me ask it. And so, you know, like, don't insult my intelligence. I got it. I know what you were trying to do, Mr. Bailey. And it didn't work because, I mean, honestly, the questions that you were able to answer, thank you. But the majority of them, I honestly got a dance. I got a song and a dance and whatever.
Well, Holly, here's the thing: you're not the only one. Okay, too
Yeah.
many times that every time I hear Don speak, even some of the when he was on our program, the first time I gave him a little bit of a pass because none of us really understood what was coming. Anyways, the project was brand new. The second time we went in with intent to ask harder questions, which he knew up front. Okay, so it's not like we were trying to bombard him and be jerks about it.
Right.
But that time, in most spaces that I ever hear him talk about, it's more about circling around the question and never really giving an answer. It reminds me of a politician where you ask a politician, is the sky blue? And they give you a 10-minute answer, but they never answer you if the sky is blue.
Right.
That's
And
what I got out of that space.
And you know what? You're not, again, like, you're not the only one that got that same like feeling about the way he handled it. And that's okay. Like I said, I came to terms, right, with I'm not gonna ever like just move on, do what you gotta do, Holly, let him pump it some more, and then just start selling off. Like you don't need to be part of this community because the community has been something else. I don't even know how to explain it. Yes, I have put my 2 cents in there, but the only 2 cents I had like to drop is factual things and questions I honestly have. And to get ridiculed the way I did for that, I'm like, it's okay. Like I'm
Yeah.
honestly, I keep going back to these people are strangers. And
Yeah.
what like in my actual life, what effect do they have on me? And it's zero. And so I block them out. And then, of course, they call it out that I blocked them. And then that starts a whole new frenzy of, you know,
Shame, shame, Holly.
yeah. I think I got called a narcissist, you guys.
Yeah.
I got called a narcissist.
Oh, wait, that's not true?
No, I mean, yeah.
Okay. My bad.
Like, you know, they say narcissists don't really know that they're narcissists. So
That's
maybe
like
I
dumb
am.
people don't know they're dumb.
Yeah. So
True
I just
statement.
kind of at it at this point because it's like, all right, like even though we followed each other for the last 3 years, your pettiness
Yeah.
is not welcome anymore.
So I
But
feel. Go ahead.
no, I was going to say there's actually one thing I want to touch on about one of Don's replies to me. So there was an incident where, you know, good old Hennessy, the little troll he was making a comment and he had asked about the marketing, like what are you doing to market or something like that, or holders, like what are you doing to bring holders in? And I had replied to Hennessy because Don had actually said, well, ask one of your people. Like it was really weird. I'm sure they got the answer. And so I said, well, from what I gathered or something like that, Don did say that his main focus isn't bringing in new holders right now. And I swear to you guys, he did say that in the space.
Yeah.
And you know, he jumped on me for that, you know, and just was like, that was misinterpreted. That's not what was said. And he explained it. He explained
Are
it
you
nicely.
talking about after the fact?
Yes.
Oh, I missed that. Oh,
Yeah.
no, that's if you would have asked me what his thought was, is like that's not a number one priority right now.
Yeah.
Just
And
from what I heard, we haven't even talked about this, you and I.
No, I know. And so, that's what I said. And then he like explained himself a little differently. And, it was great. Fine. I was like, you know what? Like, and I actually said, I apologize if I misunderstood, but, thank you for that explanation. And I think that people honestly think that I'm being an asshole, like I'm being a smart aleck or whatever, a smart ass, but I'm not. Like, okay, if I was wrong, I will admit that I'm wrong. Thank you for explaining that
Yeah.
difference for me, right?
Yeah, but here's the problem. If you didn't talk in circles all the time, it would be way easier to get answers. But you are going to interpret Don Bailey's answers maybe different than I am, maybe different than Caleb is, because there is no definite answer. And I understand that there can't be always a yes and there can't be always a no. But if you
Yeah.
talk in circles and talk like a politician and give me a 10-minute answer that should take 30 seconds, at some point you are going to lose me and I'm going to make up my own mind.
Yeah,
There's
and
my
that's
2 cents.
I think that's kind of, what happened. But I mean, I could have sworn he actually said it, but fine, I'm wrong,
If he
right? Like,
didn't, Holly, I seriously, that's how I would have summarized that part of it because that's what I got out of it. So,
oh my gosh, like, and you know how you can just, especially knowing Don and hanging out with him and hearing him in spaces for as long as, he's been around and stuff, I kind of know when he responds the way he's responding to me. And so it was just a little sassy. But that's okay. But there was a part where he had said, and I told you, Holly, if you have any questions, you have my phone number. And I've been sitting on that for a long time, since he said it. And he did tell me that I was, me and him were going back and forth, and he actually said, you have my phone number. If you ever have any questions, let me know. And I honestly have been thinking about this, and I cannot utilize or leverage my relationship with Don Bailey to get answers in private where there are several other people that have the questions that I do. I would be going against what I'm fighting against. And that is everybody should be privy to all information as normal holders. Every single holder. And they're not. And that to me proves that he's willing to take questions from people he sees fit. But how is the rest of the people going to understand that if you can't say it in public?
maybe that's why nobody's buying.
And that's like, that Area 32 group, they're really harping on the fact that we're so concerned about, what's being said in that group because Don Bailey's in there. Well, apparently you have information that I don't, whether it's on purpose or not, there's still information that I'm not getting. I have questions, but I can't go on your website and find it. I can't go on your socials and find my answer.
If I
can't.
could, I wouldn't ask.
That's what I'm saying. And Don, and I feel like my relationship with him, he should know that I wouldn't be asking if I didn't have the question.
Listen,
Like,
if you would, it would be in everyone else's right to be extremely angry at the fact that you could get answers to questions they cannot.
right.
That's not fair.
That is not right. And I fight against that, but yet I'm going to do that?
Yeah.
No. There's no reason I should be in his DMs or his, text message or calling him on the phone other than maybe, "Hey Don, how are you doing?" But when it comes to actual business, I have no right to do that.
If you would take advantage of that, then you and I would have a big brother little sister conversation on the side.
Thank you.
Because I would be like, Holly, this is the exact same thing that you were complaining about.
Yeah.
Like, you should not be doing this. So I'm with
Well,
you.
Is that my integrity is being attacked? My integrity. What does that tell you right there? I don't have inside information. I don't feel like I'm in any position to get more information than the normal average holder, regardless of my personal relationship with Don Bailey or any CEO out there. I feel that way about every project, not just about BBTF. I wasn't in John's ear every 5 seconds.
Caleb and I were. According to a certain group with two numbers in it, Caleb and I worked for SafeMoon.
Yeah.
I heard that,
I
Jim.
like with a whole bunch of the employees at SafeMoon, and we did not talk about operations or anything SafeMoon. We didn't. We talked because we liked each other, not because you can give me information. I don't roll that way.
Yeah, we're not friends because of information.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. But you said your integrity was being attacked, and you know what I think I've seen. Once again, this is just one of Josh's observations in the space. Is I feel like people get real nasty and they start attacking other people and their integrity when they get really scared. And I think there are a lot of people that are really scared right now. And they will not admit it, but I think they got really scared because they lost a lot of money or whatever. Even if it was $100 might be a lot of money to somebody. I don't know the numbers. But now they've also got money in BBTF and they're thinking, are we going to do the exact same thing? So anybody that would speak bad about it, now all of a sudden they're the enemy and they've got to bring them down. And I think we need to be opening our ears more than we need to be attacking one another.
I agree. I agree. However, there was some documents that were released earlier today on the bankruptcy with SafeMoon. And I believe I didn't read it. It's like 7 pages long. And to be honest, I sold my SafeMoon and I kind of am like, okay, on to the next because it's gone.
Yeah.
And I didn't hold any of it in hopes that I was going to get my money back. I just sold it. But I guess they're going to, you can file some kind of report to claim your tokens, but they're doing it based off a $1 billion market cap, the value. And so I don't think that it's in favor really of the people who have been buying and selling and then decided to hold. I think it would be a lot less than what they would have gotten if they had just sold.
Yeah, and who knows what the math will be on all of that too. But here's the other part of that is you may be waiting for a very, very long time too. Because you do not know when that's going to happen.
Yeah, there's that.
Hey,
Yeah.
but for those people that held to the bitter end, if they get some money back, I'm all for them.
I am all for it because you know what? At least it's not zero.
Exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
hopefully, I mean, it could have been worse, but I don't think it's going to be great. Yeah.
Yeah. No, we've been talking about this for a little while now. We'll summarize this up. We'll get into some fun stuff with Caleb. I just, there's just things out there where I think people are just always going to blindly follow people at one level or another. Yeah. There was a question asked, basically like, where are some of the people that, like, where's Gotti and where's, actually, I don't know if anybody asked where Dreaming was.
I did.
But I don't think he answered it. I think he glossed over that.
Well, yeah, and with Gotti, he basically, I had a whole ass question.
Yeah.
like a 3-part question. But he kind of read it, read it really and kind of under his breath.
Which made me think he wasn't as prepared as I expected him to be for that space too, just to be honest. I would have had those questions written out with my answers just so that I could.
That would have been mine too, but I mean,
because honestly, I probably wouldn't have picked all of your questions because some of your questions were being asked by other people. So I would have got as many people's names in that audio as I could have to answer them. But that's not here nor there. But here's where my point is with all that. So you have the head of Mirror Protocol, who we've met in person, had a great time with the dude, right? Actually, that was almost a year ago on our 1-year anniversary. He made the trip out there and was very gracious and very nice. We did not talk, just so people know, since we've been talking about this, we did not talk about the inner workings of that. It was just a group of people got together and had a lot of fun. Okay, but with that being said, where is that dude? I mean, if you want people to have some confidence, you might say he's working on something else, he's doing this, whatever the situation is, I don't know.
Well,
but that's a major figurehead that no one knows where he's at.
Well, and here's the thing is I did my own research. Oh, look at that. And I looked on Gotti's LinkedIn, and Gotti shows that in November of 2023, he left Mirror Protocol and he started a new position as like the director, head of project, the VP of products or something. I don't even know. I
Yeah.
can't remember right now, but whatever. And so I looked up what that is and what the Premier IDX is. That's the name of the company that he started for. I looked up what it is, and it's basically a digital platform for real estate agents to, it's kind of like a one-stop shop where a real estate agent can like list on there and pay a fee of like $99 a month or something. Well, if anybody's looking, they'd go to their platform, find this agent, and so on and so forth. So I've been kind of following, what that is because it is a newer company. And I'm going to go in total speculation mode, and I'm going to tell you I don't know this for sure. However, I want to tell you what I think is what has happened. I think that Premier IDX is a new company and they're doing what they're doing. It doesn't have anything to do with the token. However, I think that somehow they're going to incorporate this within the BBTF ecosystem and become a partner. And so I don't know that for sure, but the way that they didn't announce Gotti's departure and then rumblings that I've heard, through friends, through Twitter, that Gotti still is in contact with Dawn and, all that stuff. Gotti and I I thought that we were friends, outside of Twitter and outside of this weird, crypto world. I mean, I guess shame on me because I've tried to reach out to him because I was legitimately worried about him. Like, how would I know, right? So I know he's okay. I do know that just based off of talking to Blair. But he won't answer my calls or texts. And so
but
it's a little my feelings are hurt, but it's okay.
But the research you did, anyone could have come across. It's not like you got special favors from people that told you, you're not betraying anybody's trust by saying that. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, I mean, all you have to do is go to LinkedIn.
Exactly.
It's the public. So go to LinkedIn, start using Google.
Yeah. So with that being said, then, if he left Miracle Protocol, how come nobody knew?
No, and you know what? I don't know because I can tell you that
that's not transparency.
One of the big reasons that I invested in Mir Protocol at all was Gotti.
It's the only reason I invested in it.
Yeah. Yeah, because I trusted him and, I was trying to support my friend. That is really what it was. It wasn't anything other than I just want to support a friend. And so for him to be like gone, and Dreaming's another one. I really like Dreaming. And where is she? I know she's on Twitter, living her best life with XRP because I see her, changed everything. But is she no longer part of the project? That wasn't even and those things are important to me because a lot of my trust went into these people.
We talked about that since day one of this program, that a lot of times what we are buying are people. Right?
Yeah.
Because if the CEO is trash, I don't care how good the product is. There's times, especially in the beginning, I don't want a piece of it. If it happens to survive despite the CEO and ends up being something that thrives, then okay, great. But I'm with you 100%. I just thought that was super odd. And I personally, to wrap this up, and you guys can tell me what you say, or what you think. I personally thought that space did more harm than it did good.
I agree.
And I'm not saying that in a super negative way. That's just an evaluation of the whole thing. I think that if he would come out and he would give us facts, and if you can't give us facts, don't have a space. Send a tweet out and say, hey, we're all still around and everything's good, communicate a little bit. But if you're just going to talk in circles, I don't understand that.
The one thing that really caught me off guard that I thought was a little bit reckless of him to say is that there was a high probability that John Karami would be able to speak his side of the story out of the courtroom sooner than we believe.
Yeah.
And then he went on to also say that there's a high probability that John would get out of, be found innocent and be back running SafeMoon again. Which was insane to me. And I don't know, did you hear the same thing? Because was I imagining? Did I
To
dream
hear it
that?
from the space?
Yeah.
Oh no, I absolutely heard that from the space.
Okay. So I
Because I
just
think my mouth dropped a little bit, and I was like,
thought,
what?
I mean, he did follow up with saying, but that's just my opinion. I don't know for sure. But where did the high probability words come from? Because that
Yeah,
is kind of saying you know more than you're letting on. And I really hope you do. Um, because your credibility can be shot even more by making statements like that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. But here's the thing, too. Even if this was all to happen with everything that we've seen in court documents and all these other things, like
yeah.
I don't claim to be any more special than anybody else out there. Okay, but I would have to have a conversation with John before I would ever even talk about Safe Moon ever again
And maybe
because
I don't know how other than through lawyers. That's the only way because John can't talk about that stuff
no.
and he's taking a huge risk to even attempt.
Well, here's the
So,
thing. That's what I was thinking about when Don said what he said. Be like, hey, are you throwing it out there that you've had a conversation with the guy? Because you probably shouldn't be throwing that out there on public airways.
yeah.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not saying that's what he said, whatever, but that's like, how do you use the words that you use if you don't have more information than what like we have? I don't know. It's super odd. That was also, I think, in a way, what's funny about it, and I know I said we'd wrap this up, but there's so much that happened in that space
Right.
that I think as a CEO, I would be trying to put distance between myself and SafeMoon right now, whereas they seem to be wanting to get closer to SafeMoon every day than where they are right now when it comes to their tech and different things like that. And I also, yeah, we'll save that other for a different time. The whole my Dexbot thing is funny to me. I don't. We'll get into that at a different time because that's a 30-minute conversation.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
There's a lot of you guys.
yeah. I
But I
yeah.
mean, to be completely honest, I am trying to figure out my best strategy for the bags that I do have. I want to see what happens. There was, a dip, and I've been watching the chart like crazy because there's some weird stuff that I can't figure out, and I'm trying my damnedest. And in
Mhm.
all honesty, when you start to like want to learn transactions and stuff,
Yeah.
BBT's chart is the best one to look at. And the reason why is because there's very slow movement. So you're actually getting to see everything because it's very, transactions are coming in it like hours apart. So
Yeah.
the different transactions you get to kind of see what's going on, but with this one specific with the last couple days I've been perplexed on what is happening with the LIO. um yeah, so
Yeah. Yep. I'm just gonna not say anything about that whatsoever, so
well
I
I'm
don't say stupid things. But I'm
he
with you
did
100%.
but I did see some mentions as to what it can be, but it still doesn't make sense. When they had said this person had told the Hennessy to dig deep. Like he was like, well, he told him if you did your own research, you would see that this is the way the protocol goes. So I'm not gonna lie, I went on to BBTF's website and I
Hmm.
looked and searched. I watched videos and I can't see anything in regards to a 50% reverse anything. So that is where I'm going to end that because I'm still reaching out to people trying to understand what is happening.
Yeah.
Why why is this doing what it's doing? So
Well, and
I guess
here's the thing. We throw a lot of our opinions out there, and hopefully people will realize that they're not reckless opinions. That we actually do care about people that are
yeah,
investing the projects themselves. Whether we like them or not, we still want to make sure that nothing that we come out of our mouths during programs like this would be taken as financial advice. Okay.
yeah. And that's well, the thing is that is something that would be very beneficial for the community to know.
Mm-hmm.
Think instead of looking at me like a futter for asking this question, it might be easily explained And so you can explain it to, to the community because they're going to say they have notifications on for everything.
Right.
However, getting a block for that is a little bit sketchy on itself. And then, having somebody random answer your question is again sketchy on itself. And those are red flags that people need to be looking into because it's a valid question.
Yeah. So here's where I stand with it on that whole, non-financial advice statement.
Yeah.
A lot of times, and people won't agree with this approach, I have the approach of wait and see. And that's exactly where I am at with this project. I am not trying to get in and be one of the early people and make millions of dollars off this deal. I don't have enough confidence in it to do that.
Right.
Where I am at is if I'm going to get in it, then I may end up paying 100 times more than other people. But then that means it's just going to be, we know it's going to be a success. There's too many questions. And I would even extend the invitation to Don Bailey to have the conversation with him, except for the fact that I'm afraid that we would just talk in circles, and my brain is not wired for that anymore. If you can't answer direct questions, then there's no reason to have a conversation. Because you guys, anybody out there can ask me any question they want. I will give you a 100% honest answer, even if it makes me look like an idiot. I just will. And the people that know me know that's true. Because I make myself look like an idiot a lot sometimes because of that.
I did today. It's like, oops. Sorry.
But it's okay. I don't have to remember my lies because I'm not telling any. So, and I'm too old to have to remember a bunch of lies because a lot of times it's hard to remember the truth. So I just speak what is the truth. And when people don't speak the same way, I lose respect for them. And a lot of times I just stop listening. So I'm sure there's more to say. But we have been at this for about 50 minutes. And I don't know about you guys, but I am ready for some fun. So, Caleb.
It's time for Caleb's choice.
His choice.
His rules.
All right. Question 1. What was a food that you hated as a child that you like now as an adult?
Mine's easy. Broccoli. I would have rather starved than eat broccoli as a child. And the way my wife prepares it now is very, very good.
Mine was broccoli and cauliflower. So
You can throw asparagus in there too. I actually had that for lunch.
Maybe Mom just sucked at making those. I don't know.
I'm not supposed to talk about the dead that way, Caleb.
I honestly don't know. Because I'm a very picky eater and a very specific eater and I've been like this since I was really little, like bad.
So your tastes haven't changed much since you were little?
Not really. I don't actually, they may have, but I don't allow myself to branch out to try to see.
Gotcha.
Like I'm one of those people. So if anything, I would probably say something like asparagus. I've always liked broccoli, so I can't say, but asparagus I never really remember eating when I was littler, but now I like it. So I don't know. I don't really know if we just never had it. No, we did.
I don't think we had it a lot, but I'm pretty sure I didn't like it.
Yeah.
What was yours, Caleb? Did you say?
Yeah, broccoli and cauliflower.
Oh, broccoli and cauliflower.
Yeah.
See, I told you I can't remember anything.
I guess I'm hungry because my next question's about food too. So, where was the last restaurant you ate at, or what was the last restaurant you ate at?
Like real restaurant or like fast food?
Yeah, like you went down, not fast food. You went and sat down and ate.
I don't remember the name of it, but it was French cuisine. I don't remember the name of it. Holly, I thought the exact same thing. Okay, but it actually wasn't bad. Friends of ours wanted to take us go out to eat with them, and we met them at this place. And I was like, "Hey, I'm going for the company more than I'm going for the food," but it wasn't bad. But I can't. I probably couldn't pronounce the name of the restaurant. That's probably why I don't remember it. Besides that, it was Culver's. I had a juicy hamburger yesterday for lunch. My wife and I went to go pick out paint, do some window shopping for the new place. Which they're supposed to be moved out Thursday, so hopefully we'll be in our new
Yeah.
house within 3 to 4 weeks.
Yay.
That'll be good.
Yeah.
What about you, Holly? Is it some fancy Mexican place with a mariachi band?
No, no mariachi band, but it's a place called Mi Amigo Ricardo's,
Oh,
and they just have the best. I have been there a million jillion times, and I'm not sure I've ever gotten anything different than rolled chicken tacos, rice and beans. Like that is the plate that I
Yeah.
get every time. I honestly don't think I've ever gotten anything different. I cannot think I like that I have.
I think more so than
Sounds
any
good.
other type of food, Mexican restaurants, I always get the same thing. I always
Yeah.
get fajita nachos with steak, chicken, and shrimp. I don't know why, but I don't care where it's at. That's what I always get, and
It's
I love
good.
it.
I feel like well, I see, and I for me it's I play things very safe. Like I feel like if I change it up, I'm not gonna like it as much as I like the other ones. So
Yeah.
it's just I have this weird I'm weird when it comes to food.
What about you, Caleb?
Cool. Pinnicchio. I don't know how you say it. It's a Japanese restaurant.
Oh.
It's really good. I'd love to learn how to cook that kind of food, but
Where's that one at? Is that Harrisonville?
yeah,
Is that the
that's
new
not
one?
doing it. Yeah.
Oh, and it was good.
They also have the sushi bar. You like sushi, I
I do like
think.
sushi.
Yeah.
You know, I've never eaten at a sit down sushi restaurant though. When I get sushi from a restaurant, it's always been to go.
Really
Yeah,
Sushi? Oh,
I don't know why. It just always has.
interesting.
Hmm.
Okay. My last question is, what's your favorite movie? There's a question on after that.
Favorite movie?
Yeah.
Man, I hate these questions because I can't narrow it down to just one.
mine is Grease.
Okay, Grace. Okay. What's yours, Josh?
I don't know. If I had to pick one movie right where the way I feel right now, it would be Rocky, the original
Okay.
Rocky.
With your favorite movies, you have to take the lead actor out and put someone that's acting today into those roles. Who would it be?
What?
Yeah.
You
What
can't
if
take
the
Stallone out of Rocky.
what if the actor is still acting today?
No, it has to be a different actor.
and plus, he's really old.
George Clooney
Right?
or,
I would pay to watch that. You know who I think I would pick, Caleb? Tom Hardy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I think he would
I
be
can see
decent at that. He was really good in the movie The Warrior as a UFC
that. Yeah.
fighter.
Is it the what is the robot movie he's in? I love that movie. Oh, I can't think of it, but yeah, he's in a robot movie that's the cutest
Oh,
movie ever.
I don't know what we're
Huh.
talking about. Cute and Tom Hardy don't seem to go together in my.
Wait, let me look him up because I maybe yeah, Tom Hardy.
He's the guy that plays Venom, and he was in Peaky Blinders,
Peaky Blinders. Yeah.
and he was in the one with Shiloh LaBeouf. Can't remember the name of it.
Yeah.
Somebody else. But yeah, he would be a good one.
Yeah, I'm not normally wrong, Holly. Just so you know, I'm normally correct. What about you, Caleb?
I was thinking of movie Hoosiers,
Uh,
and I was thinking the coach could be played by Michael Keaton.
yeah, I
I
can
think he
see
could
that.
do a good job.
Yeah.
Can I be Jimmy?
Sure. Jimmy Chipwood.
Gonna need a lot of makeup to make myself look like a high school kid. Holly, do you have a
Uh,
question for us today?
Yes, it's a easy
Oh,
one.
I'm sorry, we're out of time.
Oh, wah, wah,
wah, wah, wah.
wah, wah. Do you believe in luck?
How far do you want to take this?
Oh,
Yeah,
Lord.
what's
Oh.
your definition?
The true definition is no, I don't.
hmm
That's the short answer. You want the semi-long answer? Here, let me just give you to this. I believe preparation creates luck. And the more prepared you are, and I use luck like in quotes, okay? Because I think
Okay.
the more prepared you are and the more that you are into something, whatever that is, then it is perceived as luck to others, whereas you are just ready for that situation.
So,
Take that to even like gambling, right? To the slot machine. People say
Yeah.
you get lucky. It's not luck. It's a pre-programmed machine. You just happen to be sitting there when it happened. So are you lucky for sitting there? If you're going to take it that far, possibly. But I just don't believe in luck. I just don't.
So you're saying like hard work creates luck,
Yeah.
kind of. I mean,
Like
yeah.
I think Thomas Jefferson actually said, the harder I work, the luckier I seem to get. I think that
Yeah.
was his quote. I may have butchered it, but it was close to that.
Lottery. I bought one ticket for the first time and won the lottery. What would that be considered?
You just beat the odds.
Yeah, but why me?
That is a good question.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to
It's
that.
out of our hands.
I suppose maybe Holly, if you're talking about, yeah, because you don't want to be super prepared to win the lottery, because that means you would have to buy like hundreds of thousands of dollars in tickets. So yes, there is probably some luck in that, I guess, but I don't think it's luck like you're a lucky person. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know either.
It's definitely
What
not
about-
something I would bank on.
Yeah.
So do you not believe in fate?
For karma.
I believe in karma.
What do you mean by fate?
Um, like I
Like
don't know.
destiny?
Yeah, kinda. Yeah. Like you're destined to do something.
So I think all of us have the capabilities to be, I don't want to say great, because I don't think everybody has the capabilities to be great. Okay. But whatever that is for you, but we also have the ability to throw that away. So I
Right.
don't know if it's destiny or not. So my wife and I went to a basketball game Saturday night, and I told her, I said, here's where I see things. This is a great microcosm of this generation, right? It was a high school basketball game. When things get really, really tough, they kind of go, oh, they kind of hide a little bit, right? Like, oh, whereas my mindset is when things get tough, I got to get tougher. Like let's go, and whatever that is, it used to be a more physical thing when I was younger. It's more of a mental thing now.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of where I'm at with that. I believe we're all created for a purpose, and I think some people get to realize that purpose and some people don't. Without making this a 45-minute long answer, I'll just leave it at that. What about you? You think so? You think luck is a thing?
I'm kind of like on the fence on it. I feel like there's certain circumstances that it's like, okay, that person just got freaking lucky. But then other times it's like, that wasn't luck. That's what was supposed to happen.
Like fate.
So, yeah, like fate. And that's why I asked, like,
I think we use words like luck and fate to describe things that we don't understand sometimes too, though.
I agree.
Because my wife is very, very easy to, or points out to me often, because I'm like, man, that was super lucky. And she's like, it's not luck. She's like, we're just blessed. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, I believe that, and with all my heart. So
Agreed.
it's kind of a unique thing, because if you wanted to go down a rabbit trail, which we are not going to do tonight, okay? I asked my wife today, why are some people more blessed than other people? Think about that for a while. We're not going to talk about it, but that's a
No.
conversation my wife and I had
Is that
in the
our
car.
homework?
Yeah, that's a deep conversation.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I am blessed to have you guys in my life, and I enjoy hanging out with you every Sunday. So, and in
Same.
person, and
39 days.
yeah, like 5 weeks. It was 6 weeks from Thursday, so we're in week 5.
Yay.
Let's go.
Wow.
So, yeah. Anybody have anything else to add before we shut her down? I know we all got some things we got to go get taken care of. So, okay. Well, guys, have a great week, and God bless.
Be kind.
I'm Caleb. Please like and subscribe.